Alright, so today is Friday, and the dust storm continues out there. Wind and, yeah, more wind. Didn't do a video this past week. I just didn't have enough going on to really make it worthwhile or be practical. But what I want to do is I wanted to show what I was doing here. On this side, I did a fillet over here with the structural thickened epoxy with the silica in it. Excuse me. And I wasn't real happy with the texture it left. There's some little pinholes and whatnot in there. So I went ahead and mixed up some more filler. And this is the microspheres, phenolic microspheres, along with some silica, just to try to make it sand a little easier. Now normally you wouldn't you know, put the microspheres, the phenolic, down and then put fiberglass over it. But like I said, I put silica in there also. So I'm gonna sand this now. It's been a couple days, and see if I can't get it smoothed off, and then get some fiberglass cloth over it, like I did on this side over here. Yeah, a little dark over here at the moment, but. And then this is probably cured enough that I can sand it too. Thing is, my cough has been coming back again, and I suspect, since I started working on some things with epoxy again and sanding, I suspect I'm getting some epoxy dust and wood dust and whatnot in my lungs, and I've been wearing particle masks. Some fairly good ones, N95, you know, 3M's better quality dust masks, such as this one here. But I don't know. Hopefully the building isn't coming down. Just some of my wood stacked up over here fell down though. Yeah, I can imagine the building is shaking a little bit in this wind. Yeah, you can feel it flexing a little bit. You know, in wind is one thing, but when you get wind that blows 40, 50 miles an hour, and it does it hour after hour after hour, that's one of the situations that aren't good. Anyway, back to these masks. So these masks maybe aren't doing the trick for me. I do have a full face mask here. I've got respirator cartridges and I've got dust cartridges for it, and that's what I'm going to use now today. But I bought, or I ordered today, earlier today, I ordered one of those powered respirators where it's got a little air pump on it, and yeah, you can get, and it uses that 40 millimeter NATO standard gas mask cartridges, so you can buy all sorts of different cartridges. Yeah, what a mess out there. So anyway, we're gonna try that, and hopefully, because I've got so much sanding to do here, sanding and grinding, and I've been working on these seams, grinding these seams down here. Done some work on the other side of the boat, and it really puts a cloud of dust in here when you're doing that. So yeah, I may need to try to, you know, limit my exposure to this dust. So anyway, I didn't order one of those $1,000 3M units. I ordered a cheap Chinese knockoff, but it's the one I ordered's got pretty good reviews, so we'll see how it does. But anyway, that's where we are today, and I will update probably in a few more days. Alright, so another midweek update here. I believe yesterday I showed you I had applied this fairing compound, mixed a little bit of the silica thickener on this seam here. And now I've got, yesterday I put fiberglass tape on it, and got that up there and on. And that seems to have worked all right. Now today I started working on this seam here. And I tried something a little bit different, and I have done this before, and I was aware that there are some issues trying to do it the way I did it. And that is, I put the filler in, the thickened epoxy, the structural filler in the seam first. I wet it out with liquid epoxy, put the thickened filler in there, and then put the tape on it right away. Now, the reason I did that is because the thickened filler is really hard to sand. This stuff with the microspheres in it and whatnot is much easier to sand, but it's not structurally as strong. So I was thinking about trying to get the filler in there, the structural filler in there, and then put the tape on. The problem with that, and this is still wet so I can't really show you real well, but the problem with that is, I don't know if you can see that in the video here, but I've got little lumps and waviness and whatnot throughout the whole thing there. So I was thinking maybe this would save me a step, you know, putting filler in, then sanding, and then putting the tape on. But as it turns out now, I'm going to have probably more work to do fairing and sanding on top of this, you know, putting the, you know, the thickener in there, the fairing compound thickener in there. So I don't know. In theory, you get a better bond if we put the thickened silica on, put that stuff on first, the Cabasil, the Aerosil thickened epoxy on first, and then put the tape right on over it. We get a better bond that way. But I don't know if that's really that crucial here anyway. I think that may be a little bit overstated, the benefits of putting it on wet, especially with epoxy. And if the surface is adequately prepared, you know, scuffed up and cleaned up, epoxy grabs pretty well to the surface underneath. So yeah, I think what I may wind up doing here now is kind of what I did here. This was a mixture of the phenolic microballoons for thickener and also some maybe 15 or 20% of the silica, the Cabasil, Aerosil, whatever, to give it a little more structural strength, put that on underneath, and that sanded fairly well. So that may be what I continue doing here now, is putting the fairing compound, epoxy fairing compound on there, and then sanding it, and then putting the tape on over top of it. And of course you're still going to need to do some fairing even after that, but but it would reduce the amount of fairing that you're doing over top of these seams. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Not real happy with the way that turned out, but it is what it is. It's just going to take more sanding and fairing now. What I'm going to do is probably work on both sides of the boat here at some point. I'm doing a seam here, and then I'll probably do the seam up there at the raise, not the raise shear, but at the shear line. Do the next one, and then I'll come back and fill in these. And as I'm doing a section, I'm filling the screw holes. Now I'm not filling these yet because these are going to get filled when I do those verticals. But yeah, for getting the screw holes filled in, and I'm dabbing these all with liquid epoxy before I put the thickened epoxy in there. And again, this stuff is hard to sand, so I might wind up using the mixture of fairing compound and Cabasil. We shall see. But like I said, not real thrilled with the way this looks. This one here and on the other side looks fine, but of course that was sanded before I put the glass cloth on there. So yeah. But anyway, again, we're getting started, and we'll get figured out what works the best, and we'll kind of just go from there. I'll let you know how it turns out. Hello, and welcome back to the boat shop. It is, oh gosh, I don't even know what today is. 12th? Yeah, March 12th of 2025. And haven't done a video in the last couple weeks because my cough came back, and came back worse than ever. and it was to the point where I couldn't even walk across my yard, and it would throw me into a fit of coughing. So I have been doing nothing, absolutely nothing, for almost 2 weeks, I suppose. Thus, no videos. As you can see, I got the door open here. It's nice out. We've been having some nice days. As you can also see outside here, there's snow still left. Even though it's been in the 60s and 50s and 60s here pretty consistently, there's still snow. And I've been trapped here for, well, a week plus. It's just been too muddy for me to get out my driveway. When you got frost in the ground yet, and then the surface starts melting, it's just a gooey, ooey mess. You can see that wind here, what it did to my hook. Sorry, Quiddy. What the wind did to my screen here, just totally ripped it to shreds. Odd. Anyway, yeah, and then this week I had my left hip was so sore I could barely walk. Never had any problems with my hips my entire life, and now my left hip is giving me problems too. So yeah, I don't know. I will work on the boat when I can, and yeah, that's the best I can do. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things that, you know, and I kind of knew I should have started this project a few years earlier. If I'd have started this project 5 years earlier, I'd have been done by now, and, well, easily been done by now. But it is what it is. My body's wearing out. It makes it hard to do things. One thing I did do was put some fairing compound on here, and I tried to sand it just a little bit. I think I put a little bit too much silica thickener in there, because it's really hard to sand, and I did a horrible job of putting that on there too. I mixed it way too thin. I should have mixed it thicker and just fill this area in here, put the fiberglass tape on, and then do any fairing on top of it that I think I need to. But with the way things are going with me physically, I may not be finishing the boat to a degree that I would actually like to. I mean, I may get to the point where I just have to slap on the tape and some fairing compound and call it good. I don't know. We'll see how I feel as we get into as we get into spring and summer a little bit more, and hopefully my physical ailments, resolve themselves a little bit, and I can get more work done. And here's that PAPR, that positive air pressure respirator. It's got a little power pack and a little fan in there. Put your filter cartridge on there, and it's a full face mask. Yeah, it works all right. I wore it a little bit the other day, just kind of testing it out, and it's fine if you're not working too hard. But if you're actually doing something that's got you breathing hard, it probably doesn't quite deliver enough air. But in this one here, and I could put better cartridges on here too, but these actually seem to do pretty well. These seem to filter out pretty much everything. So actually, I think either one of these is probably fine. Maybe in the heat of summer, this one will be better because it's got positive airflow through the mask. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, just thought I'd get a video out to let you know that I am still alive, at least. Just haven't been doing any work on the boat, and I won't until my cough now is completely cleared up. Not sure what's going on with that, but I have had these issues throughout my life. When I get a cough, I have a hard time shaking it, and it just makes life pretty miserable. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that, and hope for better days in the future, and hopefully I'll be able to get back at the boat here in the near future.